Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we did not expect to be doing another She-Ra video because there's no news of season 5 or anything.
I don't even watch the last one. Well, that's not true. I watched like 20 minutes of it, and when the big decision she had to make was about her coronation party, I was like, I'm out.
It sounds like My Little Pony. Like
it was. I was like, this is stupid. I'm out. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, disclaimer, I've only watched the first season. I'm like, not classic She-Ra, and clearly the show's not for me. So
but you're problematic if you only like classic She-Ra.
I am problematic, but we're going to talk about where She-Ra possibly maybe is headed, but we're going to point out that some people who are She-Ra fans have made the observation that there are a lot of similarities between Dreamworks She-Ra and Dreamworks Voltron, in that Dreamworks has pursued an LGBTQ audience for this show, and they're probably not going to deliver on any of the ships, and they're probably going to hide those LGBTQ relationships because it's, at the end of the day, a kid's show.
Well, here's the thing with Voltron. It was a little bit of the show, but it wasn't like that much of it. But they're pushing the hell out of it with She-Ra.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but they are. And it's like, you know, and immediately that's what they went for right from the get-go. Was, do we mention Noelle Stevenson? Do we mention she's a lesbian? Do we mention that? Do we mention that? Do we mention that? These characters are all, you know, non-binary, or this one, you know, these ones are lesbians, or both dads are gay. You know, in the original She-Ra, everybody knew Bo was gay. It was kind of like everybody knew
It was like the running joke.
But it wasn't a leading point of the show. It didn't, no, because you know what? It was a kid's show. It didn't matter. No one was sleeping with anyone, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, well,
I mean, again, it's for the children. Well, no one's technically sleeping with anyone, so it really doesn't matter, does it? No.
But again, going back to DreamWorks marketing, okay, because this is the biggest problem we've had with the show is the marketing. Because
they try to flag us and all.
Oh yeah, right out of the gate, They were openly hostile to fans of the original She-Ra show. If you had a problem with the changes made to the characters, you were a problematic person.
Oh, you're a misogynist. I was a bad mother. So on and so on and so on. Blah, 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 blah. Don't care.
So now, so what they did is they doubled down and they focused on chasing the LGBTQ crowd.
Right, because it's for them. It's all representation.
It was for them. And now it turns out, according to GeekDad, that maybe DreamWorks was baiting people all along. That this is all marketing fluff. That there is not actually going to be legit LGBTQ representation shown on screen. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about He-Man and how I think He-Man is coming and She-Ra might be going away, or at least, pushed to the back burner. Phasing out.
Hopefully it'll be rebooted the right way down the road.
You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that, you hater.
I don't care if it's representation or not. The character designs I don't like, and the story's been kind of suck. So, you know, I mean, I do like Catra better, though.
I
do like Catra better, and I like Entrapta better. I like them both. Those were both, and Claw, and you know, I like Scorpia. She was pretty good too.
Actually, it's pretty sad. The villains are the most interesting characters on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little annoyed with her, you know, incessant, you know, neediness. But I mean, she had at least a little bit better of a story than the original. But Catra for sure was better.
Catra was Ryoko.
The rest of them, no.
Yeah, Catra was Catra and Entrapta. I mean, we had Catra and Entrapta were basically Ryoko and Washu from Tenchi.
Yeah, which wasn't a bad thing. We love Tenchi. I mean, the kitten's name's Ryoki. So
yeah, we have a new kitten named Ryoki. So anyway, before we get into the video please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Rants. Plural. It's like aliens. It's not just rant. This is rants. And then we'll have Rant 3
rants.
and Rant Resurrection and then Prometheus for some reason. So, yeah, hoping to hit our 100,000 soon. Thanks for that. We do. Yeah, I know.
We're almost 88.
88.
We're like 87.6 or something?
Something like that. I don't know. I can't tell with YouTube's goofy numbering system now.
A little bit more. Something about a whore. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hordak, you mean?
That's right, Hordak.
All right, so yeah, let's talk about this. We do talk about animation. We have talked about She-Ra in the past. We haven't talked about it lately because we're both out. But this was really interesting. So just before we get into the article on GeekDad, if you go out and you just search for She-Ra LGBT, you're going to see all kinds of articles with all kinds of headlines like this. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power perfectly handles its LGBT.
Because they're leading with it on everything.
Everything, even before it came out. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, season 2 is even more hopeful and gay.
So here's the thing, right off the bat, with the way they treated the old fans of She-Ra, that if you didn't like the designs, whether or not, you didn't even know what the story was yet, but you didn't like the designs, immediately you were a misogynist, problematic person.
Homophobe.
They were deliberately trying to remove people who liked the old She-Ra, because they already knew what their audience was going to be. They were already trying to get rid of the old audience so that their new audience would be what they wanted.
But now they're going to stick it to that audience too.
Apparently.
I mean, here we go. Pride. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power is filled with big gay energy, right? You get it.
Noelle Stevenson. I mentioned Noelle Stevenson. Hey, guess what? She-Ra was invented by Noelle Stevenson. Not.
Well, we're going to talk about Noelle Stevenson, and this article was posted yesterday by Shanzi from GeekDad. This is, look, Baitworks, how Dreamworks engaged in predatory marketing toward LGBT fans.
Mm-hmm.
And now, a lot of the article is about the Voltron situation.
Yeah, they really did, though, on the Voltron situation. They kind of hinted, and they didn't deliver on it, really.
And Voltron, I mean, personally, like, I guess with She-Ra, I guess it can get... In some ways, I can see it getting more of a pass because it is supposed to be geared toward a younger audience. Mm-hmm. So maybe you don't want to show a lot of romance anyway.
It doesn't need it. Didn't need it in the original either.
Yeah, there was she had a thing with Seahawk, kind of.
Yeah, that was it. Because imagine that back in the day when kid shows weren't about that because it was for kids, but everybody keeps saying that's for kids. But it's not.
Yeah, so people were not happy with Voltron, where they sort of sidelined gay characters, and people were salty because they didn't get their ship.
Oh my God, they flipped out.
Clance did not happen, and people were very, very angry about it. But again, it was one of those things where, and we'll talk about fandoms and making demands. And actually, Sean Z, I went out and read another article he did too, talking about toxic fandoms and demanding shipping, and he's actually not wrong.
No.
He actually has a pretty good grasp of this. But what he's basically saying is Dreamworks did it once with Voltron. Okay, and they talked about the blueprint. I will give you a link to this. You can go out and read it. But then he's seeing the same thing going on with She-Ra, but I think in She-Ra's case, it's actually more predatory because the biggest component of the marketing for She-Ra has basically been, it's a show for gay folks by gay folks.
Yeah, and if
this is the gayest show on TV.
And if you like the original She-Ra and her design, there's something wrong with you because we commandeered her and she is now this because we say so.
Yeah, so let's read these couple of paragraphs here talking about She-Ra. You say he took a break from investigation. That was, regarding the situation with Voltron. That's a whole nother can of worms. The show's over. We're not going to talk about it. So he started looking more closely at She-Ra and started noticing some similarities immediately with Voltron. The show is positioning itself as gay-friendly without any gay primary characters. Like with Voltron, the show staff spoke openly about their commitment to diversity. I was already concerned the show was overpromising, so I started investigating. Okay. Uh-oh, don't ask questions. What is that?
You're not allowed to ask questions.
You're not allowed.
It's not for you, it's for the children.
It's not for you, GeekDad. After months of checking and rechecking, I'm now confident enough in my data to share it. Multiple independent sources confirmed to me that She-Ra is another Voltron.
I'm not surprised. It's both DreamWorks.
Yeah. That DreamWorks and its partners early on in the show's development rejected showrunner Noelle Stevenson's plan for there to be a foreground LGBT character. However, they continued to market the show as though there would be an LGBT primary.
Let me guess. Her LGBT foreground character was She-Ra, and it was her OC. They gave her the same haircut she had with the ponytail. It was the same thing. It was obviously...
Right.
Obviously her OC. She OC'd She-Ra from a show she had by her own admission never watched growing up.
Yeah, because I mean at this point, as far as I can tell, we have a lizard person who is non-binary, but I don't think...
You don't have to call it it.
I know we accidentally called the lizard person it.
Because, it's a lizard.
We have gay...
creature.
We have gay dads. We have Bo's gay dads, but they're background characters. Mm-hmm. We have, Spinnerella and Natasha, but they're background characters. Mm-hmm. So I think the plan probably was to make She-Ra and Catra a thing.
Oh, I'm sure that was her plan.
But that didn't happen. But they marketed the show as being really, really gay.
Because anymore, if you're going to do a show, you have to make it all like you.
Pretty much, yeah.
You can't, there's not something called, acting and, imagination. It has to be a character about yourself. Even all the interviews, she basically was saying they were all her.
Yeah, so this gets really interesting though, because they tried to, get an answer, and they couldn't get a straight answer out of Noelle Stevenson or any of the other people with the show. One source did say Stevenson, who's queer herself and has written several works with prominent LGBT characters, fought against the decision to exclude queer primary characters, but also confirmed she was wholly aware her request had been rejected when she began teasing. Her request had been rejected when she began teasing the queer relationships in her show.
Oh, I'm not surprised, because you know what? First of all, they keep saying the demographics for kids. If that is true, it doesn't matter. No one needs to be in relationships. It's supposed to be about friendship and power, the power of friendship. It wasn't meant to be about, Adore and Catra making out. It wasn't supposed to be. They already put Bo has two dads. They've made it very clear that, people are different in this world, and that's fine. It's different in our world, and that's fine. But she definitely was pushing this whole push-pull relationship here. And it's interesting that they told her no, which I'm not surprised they did, but then she went ahead and did it anyway because she probably thought, better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I'm Noelle Stevenson. Oh.
Well, this is interesting. Now, this is a source. I don't know if the source is coming from within DreamWorks or whatnot, but this explains a lot of things. While Stevenson did not go into the show with the intent to manipulate LGBT viewers, the source confirmed she did allow it to proceed and intentionally...
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
...intentionally played up romantic subtext between same-gender characters like Adore and Catra to queer fans.
I hadn't even read that far down, because whatever. Go ahead.
The baiting of a potential romantic relationship between Catra and Adore is significant, and that has been teased through a variety of channels beside the subtext in the show itself. Stevenson has engaged in a tactic called queer catching, I thought it was called queer baiting, in which the creator uses out-of-show interviews and marketing to manipulate queer audiences.
Yes, at New York Comic Con and stuff, she's been constantly being like, because I want to see representation, I'm going to put representation in the show because I myself, LGBT and all that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That point, but she's been saying it, and then the media that has been set out to
every interview
every interview is about her and about that. Do we mention She-Ra's by Noelle Stevenson? How many other shows do you know? Even Steven Universe, does it always mention Rebecca Sugar? No, it doesn't. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then all the media was sent out to completely. Anybody who didn't like it was problematic. Anybody who didn't like the character design before we even knew what the show was somehow a homophobe, a misogynist. There's been a clear agenda with this from the beginning.
Yeah, the marketing people behind this show
are morons.
They're awful.
Yeah,
they're awful people.
We've been saying it. They're terrible.
Melody Britt, who was the original voice actress of She-Ra,
I'm making a heart for Melody Britt.
Yeah,
Yay.
She's awesome. She had to come out and defend old school She-Ra fans from DreamWorks marketing machine. And now not only are they awful to the old school fans, they used the gay audience, and they teased this thing that's never going to happen, and they knew they were doing it, and they don't care.
According to his sources.
According to his sources. But given our own experiences with the marketing people on this show, that we've had every She-Ra video flagged for something or another, that they stalked us.
Oh my God,
year.
yeah, if we do anything, they flag it. Even though other people could do the same thing, and we always got it back because it was fair use and we never violated anything. But they would deliberately tie it up till the event was over, and they wouldn't release it. But the joke was on them because we just do another one, not put that part in it, and we'd still get the hit. So on you, anyway.
But this is interesting. GeekDad is pointing the finger of blame at Noelle Stevenson herself. Well, you know
what? To be honest with you, I would not be surprised because, as I've said before, my problem with Noelle Stevenson was way before She-Ra. When I saw that she was the one going to run She-Ra, I was like, yay, She-Ra. And then I saw her name. My exact words were, oh, shit. Because I watched her on Twitter.
Before she was really famous.
Before she was anything, before anybody cared who she was. And she would go around and she would bait men all the time. She would deliberately, men would say nothing to her. They were talking to somebody else, and here she come. Because when she got her deal, her book deal, all of a sudden her name account changed to Ginger Hazing, and then all of a sudden there was all these Twitter followers out of nowhere. But that's a whole other story. But am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
But she'd go around, and if there's any argument with a man or something, even if they weren't really saying anything to her, they weren't talking to her, if they would be taken out of context, and they would deliberately target and bully and provoke men to be a complete cow, frankly, is why. And I thought she was a twit then, because I was like, what is her problem? Now, I think she's probably gone back and deleted a lot of those, because now that she's at Dreamworks stuff, she wants people to know about it, even though I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah.
But she, like other people, like I know Kate Left did it and stuff too, they were going out there and deliberately trying to troll men. So for her to go around and troll people on purpose would not be a surprise to me or a reach whatsoever.
Well, look, let's look at, I mean, it could have been her intention to go into this and be like...
I think it was.
But then she got shot down because at the end of the day, She-Ra is owned by a toy company that wants to sell dolls to little girls.
And it didn't work because no one liked this version of the show.
They're collecting dust on
They're
the
not
shelf.
selling, and they're on clearance. I am sure she did go in with the best of intentions, promoting her OC and her own ideas of what the show should be. And I'm sure they told her no. But she deliberately kept it going to bait people. And I've seen her manipulate and bait people before, which is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so, okay, so here they're going to make more comparisons between Voltron and She-Ra. The thing about subtext-driven queer baiting and queer catching is that it's difficult to prove outright, unlike with Voltron, where executive producers Dos Santos and Montgomery made public promises. They did. And that's why, I mean, look, people are going to be salty about their ships, whatever, but when they flat out said, we're going to, well, I mean, Disney did it too. Look at Beauty and the Beast. We're going to have an exclusively gay moment, and it's literally 10 seconds.
Not even that. It's a couple seconds.
With LeFou, which could just be a joke. It's not, you know.
It was.
They keep doing, and same with Avengers Endgame. We're going to have our first MCU gay character, and it's just a guy in a chat, in a group therapy session.
Yeah.
It's like, look, if you're going to do it, commit to it, right? But China. We can't make China mad.
That's probably what it is.
We can't make China
But that's not what it is here. I think what it is here is they understand, like you said, it's a toy company, owns it. Yeah. They have to sell toys of this. I don't think they wanted to. I think they kind of made them sell toys. They keep claiming their audience and their target demographic was for kids. And I mean, I don't care if you're straight or gay or whatever. You can't push romance relationships too much on a show geared at a demographic that young.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. And I don't care what kind of couple you're pushing. They didn't do it in the original either because, you know, I mean, it was hinted that she liked him, he liked her, but they didn't push it. You know, they were really pushing it with Bo, which was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, He-Man wasn't knocking boots with Beastman every night. You know.
Well, in the comic, you know.
Is it Beastman or Skeletor?
It's Skeletor and
Skeletor.
Beastman.
Okay, he's always got a boner. Okay, so Stevenson has been much more careful to tease without promising, to provide herself with deniability. However, we can point to specific instances of the behavior.
Oh, I already know them.
Yeah, talked about it at Comic-Con. Well, after
I said, at Comic-Con.
Yep. DreamWorks and his partners had rejected the idea of a foreground gay relationship and had informed Stevenson of that decision. She accepted the praise at the She-Ra panel for depicting budding romantic queer relationships in the show, and said her favorite moment of the fandom was when an Adora and Kappa cosplayer proposed. Yeah, I remember that. When someone shouted at her to place that in the show, she smiled, took a sip of water, and then moved on to the next question.
Here's the thing. Yeah, she did this a lot, actually. Well, but you know what? Are we surprised? She did a lot of things about taking credit for other people's stuff. You know, she's done this before. Again, if you followed her before She-Ra, she worked on the Lumberjanes comic. And I'm going to mention it. And you're looking at me. I shouldn't. I'm going to. She worked on the Lumberjanes comic, and they won an Eisner. And they had a table full of Eisners, one for each of the people that worked on the comic. And somebody basically had said about her with all the Eisners, and she didn't correct them and say, oh, no. This is for the team. She let them think that they were all her Eisners. And am I wrong?
My memory's a little foggy, but I do recall that being the case.
Yes.
Yeah, I do recall it being the case.
So she's done this before, and we know some stories on the back end we can't talk about where she's taking credit for things. We know she took credit for She-Ra for the longest time until the fans raised too much of a stink for them to get away with it anymore.
She-Ra was her daughter.
Yeah, She-Ra was her daughter. Yeah. It's her creation. When the real father, Larry DiTillio, passed away, and they were at the convention, never gave him a mention.
That was Emerald City, wasn't it?
I think it was. Never mentioned him.
Yeah, that
took all the credit and the glory.
Yeah, that was the most disgusting thing. I gotta tell you, going back to DreamWorks marketing machine, and I don't wish for bad things to happen to people, but I wish whoever was in charge of marketing the show found another job someplace else.
I agree.
I really do, because they've been horrible. They've been horrible to the old school fans. They could have extended an olive branch right out of the gate, and they didn't do it. Instead, they attacked the fans.
Their behavior caused most of the rifts, I believe. Same with Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely. They manipulated the media into thinking, so this is like it's just one big lie. They manipulated the media into thinking this was going to be some groundbreaking LGBTQ show, and now they're having the rug pulled out from underneath them anyway. But Larry DiTillio, who was a co-creator of She-Ra, passed away over the summer.
He was her dad.
Yeah, he was one of her two dads.
Yep.
It was Larry DiTillio and J. Michael Straczynski from Babylon 5, and he writes comics. And DiTillio died. They said nothing about his death until they could use it to promote season 2.
Or is it season 3?
One of the seasons.
Well, that's right.
Season 2 or season 3.
They let it go, said nothing. No comment, nothing. And I'm not talking like for a few days. It was like a couple, like 3 weeks or more. Yeah. And then when it came time to promote the show, then they used his name and invoked it and gave him credit to promote the show. She sat there, and at this point, they would have known he passed away.
Yeah, they would have known.
They sat there, none of them gave him a shout out, credit, or anything, and she sat there and took all, I remember I watched the panel, she took all the credit for her being She-Ra's mom and took all the applause, and yay me, go me, I'm so wonderful, it's me, yay. And then she never gave credit to the people who actually created She-Ra, including the man who was one of her two dads that just passed away. And then the show didn't use it until they could try to use it as marketing. It was flat out disgusting, and a lot of people were really mad about it.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like, even with the show itself, like, look, you can think about the show whatever you want to think about. I think it would be a decent show if it was called something else.
I think if it was not She-Ra.
Yeah.
Because it's not She-Ra. It really isn't.
No, it's not. But the marketing people behind the show are god-awful. They're the worst. I mean, when Melanie Britt, who loves everybody, has to come out and tell them to knock it the hell off, you know it's pretty bad.
Can you try to say Melanie Britt? I want to make a little heart sign with my hand.
I know. We need to get
I love her.
She's awesome. But yeah, so she dodged questions. They said in an interview with Fandom, Stevenson, in an interview with them entitled She-Ra gives us the slow burn queer romance of our dreams, Stevenson claimed that the relationship between Adora and Catra is the defining one of the show. When asked point blank by interviewer Keely Flaherty if their relationship was romantic, Stevenson dodged the question, claiming I want the people watching it to draw their own narrative from the show. But that is a fair reading. Then she teased when season 4 dropped, she had this image, which is kind of, romantic-y, right? Now, individually, none of this will register to the average straight viewer or the average fan of the show who isn't following interviews and Twitter.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, however, for queer viewers who are hooked by the promise of a queer-friendly show, again, look at all these headlines, look at the promotion for the show, and began following the show on social media, these things form the out-of-band message. Hey, I like these two together as well. Maybe it'll happen. Come watch and see. Since I know some people will look at this and have doubts, here's an example that's harder to play off as fans over reading. This is a screen cap from the 3rd season showing Adora and Huntara. However, this is not what Netflix placed in the promotional images for the show. Instead, they used the following image, her with Catra.
Mm-hmm.
Longingly.
Oh, no, even in the show, they were clearly pushing some kind of... The prom episode?
Oh, yeah, the prom episode
I mean, come on.
So, basically, this is... I don't disagree.
I don't disagree either. I also know that she takes credit for things all the time and misdirects often.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she knows how to play the game. She knows how to play the game, And people are like, why change the image? Because they know Adora and Catra together. They know, and look, even on our own videos, I gotta tell you, we did a video talking about how, hey, we're done, we're out, we're not watching She-Ra anymore, and the She-Ra videos that had Adora and Catra together always performed better because people were looking for that ship, even if they didn't like what we had to say.
Which is a whole other topic. Let's go about the shipping. The shipping is getting out of control. Can we just take a moment to do this? I am really getting tired. So tired of these people on the internet who, like, they ship people. You're allowed to ship people. That's cool. You're allowed to have your own personal, I hope this person ends up with that person. Everybody's done it in the stories forever. Where it becomes a problem is where people aren't getting their own way and they have meltdowns. Yeah. I mean, in the case of Voltron, they did kind of tell you that was going to happen. They said they were going to do something. They
promised. They flat promised.
Well, they didn't promise it would be that ship, though.
Well, that's true. They
promised that there would be a representation. They didn't say that ship.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's like they get in their head, Raylo. The Poe and I don't know what they call him, Poe and Finn.
Finpo.
Is that what it is? Finpo?
Finn?
I don't know. Whatever it is. You know, they get in their head these ships have to happen, and when they don't get the ship they want, they have massive meltdowns. Harass people on Twitter. They go on about people. Oh, these toxic Star Wars fans that supposedly harassed Kelly Marie Tran off of Twitter, and it turned out that's not actually the whole story.
It's not the whole story.
But they're not mentioning the ridiculous people on the other side who were making death threats against like J.J. Abrams because they didn't get their Poe Finn ship or they didn't get Reylo the way they wanted. We've seen some really ugly stuff go down with Steven Universe over not getting the ships they wanted. And shippers need to understand you don't always get your own way. That's just the way the world works.
Yeah.
It's a show.
It's a cartoon.
Well, read what they did.
For kids. Yeah, let's talk about this. This is actually written by the same author on GeekDad. And I'm finding myself actually agreeing with this guy quite a bit. So once again, this is not Voltron specific. This is an article about shipping and how toxic shipping has become.
It's terrible.
At a fan event last year, an artist drawing fan art for the game Undertale, which our kids play, was gifted cookies by someone at the event only to discover they were filled with needles.
That's why I never eat food from people at the events.
Yeah, even though they steal our chips. They steal our chips. And then when they pierce the artist's tongue, all because an anti, which would be the anti-shipper, didn't approve of the artist's ship.
Let this sink in. They didn't like the fact this artist drew fan art of ships, so they gave them cookies with needles in them. Now tell me again how people, making a couple comments that, on Twitter because they don't like Star Wars are the toxic people.
Yeah, right?
I mean, this isn't the first instance. They bullied the one girl to almost trying to get her to kill herself. They mentioned that. Yeah,
they talked about Steven Universe. One of the I think she was a storyboard artist. She quit. And I do remember that one really well because they were basically talking about how Tumblr shippers turned on a show that was supposed to be for them. And they turned on him.
Well, that's terrible at Sherlock.
Yeah, antis in the Sherlock fandom drove a rape survivor to tears at a Sherlock fan convention panel after she said she believed it was acceptable for authors to write works with non-consensual sex. Antis called her a rape apologist and posted a video of the exchange online, but she actually was a rape survivor herself.
Yeah.
So, members of that panel were specifically targeted not based on their preferred pairing, but on their preference of who tops between Sherlock and Watson. Whoa. Antis in the Steven Universe fandom forced an artist working on the show to quit Twitter. I do remember that because she, kind of did the same thing, but it wasn't the same thing. She was like a storyboard artist. She put a picture up. I think it was Ruby and Sapphire. Or no, it was Peridot. Anyway, it wasn't an approved ship. And they harassed her. Their approved ship. And we had another artist on Tumblr who was driven off of Tumblr because she made Rose too skinny. Mm-hmm. But these are the people. That's so funny because people who like these shows are constantly attacking people who don't like these shows. And we've gotten comments. I'll say it. Some of the most toxic comments we have ever had on CLOWNFISH TV are on videos dealing with She-Ra, the animation industry as a whole, Steven Universe, Voltron, anything like that. We get all kinds of crazy people leaving ridiculous comments. The last She-Ra video we did where we accidentally referred to the lizard person as an it because it's a lizard person.
Yeah. We referred to it as an it, and we got in trouble for it.
We got all kinds of hate. We had these people go out and actually go to every freaking forum they could find.
Trying to get people to come and harass us.
Harass us.
Which was great because then it just helped us in the algorithm and we got way more views and a lot more money.
Yeah, we did get more money.
It was wonderful.
So thank you for that. Thank you for giving us more money. But these people, look, and at the end of the day, we're talking about a cartoon show.
They're cartoon shows.
So you can't say that Star Wars fans take Star Wars too seriously or fans of established, shows, Doctor Who, whatever, take it too seriously when you're putting freaking needles in the cookies.
Yeah, and this is I was on a thing this today, and the one person was a very far left leaning individual, and they made a comment about something, and then somebody who was a very far right-leaning individual made a comment back, but it wasn't anything it was just just debating the topic without being too, it wasn't anything bad. Somebody watching the back and forth who was also a far leftist then threatened to hit them with a baseball bat the next time they saw them because he didn't have the opinion they liked.
Because that solves everything.
You know, this whole idea of you have everything's polarized no matter what it is. If you're not if you're not for me, you're against me. If you don't agree with 100% everything I do, we can't be friends. If you like this ship and I like that ship, and I don't like your ship, I'm going to put needles in your cookies. I'm like, this is beyond insane. And like the Star Wars people that are the really bad shippers, they don't seem to understand that actors aren't their characters. I mean, these people like have no sense of reality at all.
John Boyega had to shut him down. He shut him down tremendously. He's like, you realize this is a movie. This is science fiction. This isn't a documentary, right?
These are cartoons.
But so here, let's wrap up talking about She-Ra. Talking about this article. We'll talk about what's probably going to happen next, and this might even play into it. So again, Sean Z's out here armed with this information, the data from sources, and the blueprint from Voltron. It's hard not to see how this will play out. The show, after seasons of queer subtext, will not deliver any on-screen confirmation of queerness, even though that's what they marketed it as.
Well, who knows? They might get another season. We don't know what's going on with that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Because there hasn't been any talk about that. We'll talk about it.
But we said it last time. And
no, because it was already in the can.
Well, this is what we thought. But yeah.
So queer fans will express hurt, and once again, the gaslighting will begin. Dreamworks surrogates, such as voice actors, will reference the background characters, such as Bo's dad. We just talked about Double Trouble as a step forward. They had entire articles about Double Trouble. Step forward. They'll argue that queer fans were never promised anything, and once again, the narrative about a show that failed its queer fans will not be about the injured queer people, but about the poor creator who tried.
Okay, I want to say something here. Here's the thing. First of all, again, cartoon show for kids. It shouldn't even be about who likes who. It should be about, if I was supposed to be about friendship and the power of friendship. Okay, that's what it was supposed to be about. The old fans of She-Ra. And the people that created She-Ra, which was created at a studio, was known for being highly diverse.
They used to joke that Filmation was the gayest place in town. Yeah.
So this whole idea that, they didn't have representation before the show was a load of shit anyway. That's why they made Bo like the way they made Bo, the ambiguously gay weirdo. Anyway,
the gay friend.
Yeah,
he was the gay friend.
But they don't give a pass to the people who like the old She-Ra. There was no, feel bad for them because they're injured, their feelings are hurt. They've been with the show for 35 years this year.
Yeah,
35 years, and then they were basically told they were bad people for not liking a character design. They were then told they weren't promised anything. It's not for you. It's for the children. Well, right back at you. I'm sorry, but you know what?
Well, I think that's it. And no one
was promised anything.
Nobody was promised anything. This, at the end of the day, this just confirms that DreamWorks marketing people are freaking dubious, sleazy. Like they'll basically defame or use or manipulate anybody to get the ratings for the show to continue its existence. Now, I don't think it's fair to throw shade specifically at Noelle Stevenson because, look, when you work for a studio like that, you can only do what you can do.
Oh, no, I think it is. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because she knew that they said no and did it anyway. And, then she went to interviews and kept it going. I will also throw shade at the fact that every interview, the only thing we could count on with She-Ra was if you didn't like the character designs, you're a bad person. And Noelle Stevenson, because Noelle Stevenson. Do we mention Noelle Stevenson? Because of Noelle Stevenson. Even though it wasn't her who created it or anything, it's Noelle Stevenson. So yes, I do blame her.
No,
she did it on purpose.
You're right. Well, yeah, because if she knew at that point that they were not going to let her do that, then she shouldn't have played it up. But the marketing people, for sure, absolutely played it up. Now, so we're going to talk about the future of She-Ra. And oh my God, we got so much shit because I was like, I think She-Ra's done. I think it's getting canceled or it's whatever. Because at that point, the character designer was looking for work. They were looking for work.
Well, it was wrapped up.
It was wrapped up. Now, I don't know if there's going to be a 5th season or not because He-Man's coming and He-Man's coming with 2 series.
But she tried to get a hold of that, too.
She tried to get a hold of that, and they're like, no, thanks, but no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. There are 2, not 1, but 2 He-Man series coming. DreamWorks is not involved at all in these shows. Mattel is Mattel, the toy company, Mattel, is doing it themselves.
Yay!
100%, which they probably should have done that with She-Ra.
Mattel. Come here for a minute, Mattel. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I really, really wanted those She-Ra dolls, the big ones that you had shown. Like, you had Catra, and you had Natasha, and you had Glimmer. And I know there's a lot of people like me who really wanted those dolls. And I did the hashtag, and I did everything you said. So, when are we going to get some of these brushable hair She-Ra dolls? I know you're going to bring He-Man back. Everybody knows you are, and we know there's toys coming, which you're going to talk about in a minute. But I want these dolls, or smaller dolls, but I ask that you have brushable hair. And you can send them to me to review.
They're geeky baiting. They're not. They're
That's
going to
right.
show.
They're geeky baiting.
They're geeky baiting. They're going to show you pictures of those beautiful, beautiful dolls, and they're never going to make them.
They geeky baited me. It's not right. That sounds really wrong after I said that. Geeky baited does not sound like a good thing.
Geeky bation.
After I said it, I was like, wow, I'm never going to say that again.
That's not something.
That's a t-shirt. I geeky baited. Anyway.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So, and seriously, Mattel, if you want to send these toys to people who will give it a fair review and we'll and if they're awesome, we'll say so and tell everyone. Just you can see our contact information. Our PO box is what is it? CLOWNFISH TV. Is it?
It's in the description.
It's in the description.
Just go get it. Just send her some stuff.
Sorry, guys. You can't blame a girl for trying. You can't blame a girl for trying.
They never promised you anything.
They never did, but
they never promised you anything.
But they said if we use those hashtags, which I did, they baited us. Anyway, continue.
Well, they promise a lot of people a lot of things, and they don't deliver, do they? So they're doing 2 new He-Man shows on Netflix, in addition to the really ill-conceived He-Man live-action movie starring the rom-com guy.
Noah, whatever.
I hope to God that doesn't happen. The Kevin Smith show might be good, but we've heard things about that too. That it's going to be mostly about Tila. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway,
we're trying to bait with that one too.
Yeah, that's what we've heard. Yeah, but Mattel is making sure they're in charge of both of these He-Man shows.
Okay, good.
Okay,
take some control back. I agree.
And I think because DreamWorks actually had the rights for He-Man at one point too. I think Mattel saw what went down with She-Ra, and they're like, hell no.
Well, people kept asking Stevenson in interviews about different He-Man characters coming in, and she'd be like, well, it's kind of a tricky thing. We don't have the rights to all of the characters. And I'm like, thank the heavens,
You mean she dodged just like she does everything else she does?
Yeah, this is, like I said, if you go back and followed her for years, this is nothing new.
Yeah, well, Mattel basically took He-Man off the table because we knew, He-Man would have been a Kyle. They would have made him just a
You're right, they would have.
Puss. But actual He-Man is supposed to be coming. One of the shows is geared more toward adult fans. The original show is supposed to be a direct sequel to the original Filmation show. As I understand it, that's Kevin Smith's show. The other one is going to be more for general audiences. It's going to be a reimagining, but
done with people who have done really good projects.
Yeah, it's actually being done by the animation studio that did Troll Hunters, which was awesome. So, again, the end of it, this is what it's all about, guys.
Oh, yeah, these are the highly articulated ones.
Yeah, these are
I remember these.
These are the new He-Man figures that are coming out, and actually...
She-Ra would look good with that.
She would look good like this.
Just saying.
Mattel is bringing...
Brushable hair.
With brushable hair?
Brushable hair.
She needs brushable hair. Look at that rainbow. Oh, it's a prototype Darth Vader. I'm like, what's up with Rainbow Darth Vader?
That was the San Diego Comic-Con one.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I need to get one of those. But yeah, the He-Man's coming back. Mattel's making He-Man again. It was Super 7 for a while. They were doing the classics, but they're actually going to have He-Man figures in Walmarts on blister cards. We saw the wrestling figures the other day.
Yeah, we can't get in trouble for this. It's our own video.
It's our own video, but like freaking Ultimate Warrior on a freaking He-Man card, and now actual He-Man figures are coming too. So Mattel wants to make sure that their brand is protected. I think She-Ra, at the end of it, its legacy is going to be that it failed everybody.
Well, even the toys seemed like they were shoved in at the last minute, and they did not do well. I mean, they were on clearance. People were telling me about how cheap they were being moved out, and they're just, no one wanted them.
Yeah.
And now this year is the 35th anniversary of She-Ra. So I know PowerCom is going to focus on She-Ra for this year. So let's hope they focus on original She-Ra. I'm sure they'll bring Melanie Britt in and stuff.
I think they already...
I wish I could go. I really wish.
Hint, nudge, nudge.
Well, I know. I just don't know how. I mean, it's clear across the country. So.
We've gone clear across the country many times. Can do it again. We got friends out there.
That's true.
Yeah. Hint, nudge, nudge. Anyway, I think it is going to be classic She-Ra because that's what's on the art, I guess, for PowerCon. But I think
it's a beautiful piece of art.
It is a beautiful piece of art. Unlike when they did the artwork for this past year, where they just shoehorned new She-Ra in,
and then Space He-Man,
and the faces weren't even drawn or anything at first.
Was it Space He-Man? Yeah, it was Space
He-Man. Yeah, New Adventures of He-Man. But classic He-Man's coming back, so Mattel's going to want to cash in on that. They want to protect their brands, kind of like Hasbro. I think they let DreamWorks kind of do whatever they wanted. So I think what's going to happen at the end of this is we're going to have a show that's basically for nobody, because it was promised that this was going to be.
And the people that they thought it was for were really, I mean, they were the ones who were the most vehemently, supporting and coming screaming at people like us for not liking it. They were the ones going after everybody for questioning any decision, that there was something wrong with them because they weren't, they were too white, too straight, too whatever. And then they're not going to get what they wanted either.
Yeah.
So welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party. This show is not going to make anybody happy at the end of the day.
The difference is we don't put needles in cookies.
Yeah, we don't do that. That's bad.
So that's the difference between us and them. We don't needle cookies.
We don't needle the cookies. No. Chips are good. Chocolate chips are good.
Yeah, we don't. And we use real chocolate chips, not X-Lax.
Yeah, don't do that either. Anyway, are we going to wrap this one up?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to put links to all this stuff in the video description. You guys can check it out for yourselves. Come to your own conclusion. I'm sure we're going to be told how awful we are one way or the other.
Don't care.
Whatever. We appreciate your support and your ad clicks. So
I'll use the money to go buy original She-Ra dolls.
Yeah, there we go. So we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe if you like the content. Don't subscribe if you don't like it. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.